I'm just going to first of all start off asking you briefly what's your, if you could share your experience, your undergraduate experience with us. So before we go straight into your graduate student history, just so we understand a bit more, of your undergrad background and yeah, what did you study? What did you study? That kind of thing.
Sure, yeah. So I came in 2018 fall, and I did Bachelor's of Science in Kinesiology. Finished that just in August of 2022. So same kind of field of study, did a little bit of research off the back end, but yeah, that's a very brief overlay of what my undergrad degree is.
Okay, nice. And are you from Edmonton or did you move from somewhere else?
Yeah, so I'm from Edmonton. I moved here for high school. So I used to live in Drayton Valley. I was raised in Drayton Valley. If you don't know where that is, it's like an hour and a half west, sorry. It's like in the middle of nowhere. So yeah, we moved here, grade 10. I went to high school here, Mother Margaret Mary, and then came into U of A to take that degree.
You know, it's so funny when you said that I heard Drumheller. I don't know why. I thought, oh, the place with the dinosaurs. That was what I was thinking.
Yeah. Oh, no, much less exciting than Drumheller.
Oh, no. Okay, nice. So you completed your BSc in kinesiology at the U of A, and you moved here with your family before that. Okay. So you said you had a little bit of experience doing research in your undergrad years, right? So what was the push for you to decide to apply for grad school?
Well, yeah, like I kind of was a little unsure with what I wanted to do. I knew that my end goal was probably going to be physiotherapy or maybe medicine kind of area. So I thought, well, I might as well get kind of interested in a master's degree because we all know it's pretty tough to get into those professional degrees off of just your undergrad these days. So I ended up taking a biomechanics course with Dr. Lauren Chu, and I was really, really excited about it. And I was like, okay, that's what I want to do if I want to go ahead and do a research degree or a master's degree in research, and kind of went from there. And now we're kind of doing that. So my undergrad research was kind of the beginning, like the foundation for what my project is now for my graduate degree, because we kind of knew starting that undergrad research that's what I was going to do, was pursue a grad degree. So that was kind of the beginning of everything there. And it also kind of came off of starting to do KIM 400, which is human gross anatomy, and what that entails in the lab and whatnot. So, yeah.
Nice. Okay, so really, your interest in applying to grad school really built up on your experience in undergrad. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, can you tell us a little bit more about your graduate experience? So, what's it like being a graduate student, and is it everything you thought it would be?
In a way, I would say that grad school is much different than undergrad, especially in a thesis-based, because I actually only take 4 courses in my entire degree, and otherwise it's just kind of working on my research. But the biggest change was definitely teaching. So I TA 2 courses. I TA human gross anatomy, so that's like the advanced anatomy class for the kin degree, same degree that I just took, and I'm also doing quantitative biomechanics, so I'm TAing that as well, which has been a huge learning curve because I've never really taught anything like, what's the word I'm looking for, like in a job capacity before, like formally, that's what I was looking for. I've never taught anything formally before, so that was a big learning curve. And then trying to balance that all with being a runner on the cross country and track teams was a lot to figure out, because you're trying to learn all these new things while trying to continue doing the same things as an older, more mature athlete that you're used to doing. What else can I add to that? It's definitely been a little bit more flexible, because like I kind of get to do whatever I want with my time, and if I want to run at 3 o'clock, I can run at 3 o'clock. If I want to run at 7 in the morning, I can run at 7 in the morning, with the exception of when I'm teaching, which has been really, really nice. But it definitely comes with a level of responsibility that I didn't have to worry about in undergrad, which is obviously keeping track of my time and making sure that I'm doing what I got to do on my own watch, and nobody's kind of watching over your shoulder, making sure that you're getting things done. Not that they did in undergrad, but they're doing even less so in grad school. And also kind of thinking about what I'm going to do in the future after grad school is kind of something that watches over you all the time. But, it's a really good stepping stone to get another set of education, another set of letters, and kind of prepare you for the real world that is work.
Thank you. So I record, but I should try and get the essence of what Suko was saying in real time. Okay, nice. And thank you. So you kind of pretty much hit on the next question, which is a really nice segue, is tell us about your experience as a student athlete. So just a bit of a brief history as to, I guess you run track with the cross country team. I didn't even know that, but, just kind of explain what it is you do and how you got into it.
Yeah, so I actually used to be a triathlete, so that was kind of where this all started. I did that competitively into my first year of university and kind of decided to leave that behind and focus down onto running. So 2018 was my first year as an athlete on the cross-country team. I actually didn't run track in my first year. But then 2019, I was named co-captain of the cross-country team, so I've been doing that ever since 2019, and then I started running track that year. Do you want specific results stuff or
oh no, so just in terms of why is this something that is it just did you start doing it as an exercise and you discovered you really loved it? Yeah.
Yes, so I'm a very, very competitive person. I've always played sports. I played ringette all through my youth years, up into first year university, I think, and actually, no, last year of high school. Anyways, it doesn't matter, but I'm really, really competitive, and I've always needed kind of that outlet. I was always a little bit better. When I was a triathlete, I was always a good runner, and I was like, okay, I really want to kind of see where I can go with this and see how far I can take it, and it's really come a long way, and I've improved so much over the years, and it's something I take very seriously. My teammates would describe me as extremely intense, and they love me for it. But it's something that I will greatly miss when it's over. But yeah, I absolutely love it. I definitely wouldn't describe it as just to kind of get an exercise. There's definitely a greater purpose for it for me. But at the end of the day, my teammates are what makes the world go round. And I wouldn't be able to do it without them. Just showing up and being able to chat with them every day on our runs, it's the best part of my day, and I wouldn't do it without them. So, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much for that. And then I guess the next question is just in terms of how do you then balance both? So being this student and doing research and, sometimes you have the responsibility of teaching certain classes as well. How do you balance that with, not only are you a student athlete, but you're also a co-captain of the cross-country team? How do you balance everything, as well as I'm sure, your social life and friends and just taking care of yourself? So how do you balance?
Yeah, it's been, again, learning experience, but I definitely think that I've learned a lot of skills to deal with that from my first year of undergrad on. I was pretty bad at it in my first year of undergrad, but I also have a really good setup where my supervisor used to be a high performance athlete, so he understands the importance of being in sport and the commitment that it takes to be in sport, and that you need some flexibility to get that done. At the end of the day, you're going to get the work done. So there is that, and then on the flip side, my coach is really good at understanding, and it's always been the motto, on our team that you are a student first and an athlete second. You're a student athlete, not an athlete student. So my schoolwork has always definitely come first, while also recognizing that showing up to practice is not something that's really an option, and if you have to study, then you got to figure out how you're going to work around it. And my teammates are also really understanding, and we're understanding of each other that there's a lot of things going on, but we also know that it's just something in the schedule that you got to show up to, and you get excited about it, and you just make sure that you get your work done outside of that. But it's definitely a piece of a social bit. So like you said, my social life, and I'm very grateful that the girls that I run with and the guys that I run with are some of my best friends. And, you know, when we show up to practice, it's our chance to kind of socialize with each other and talk about what's going on. Luckily, like, we do like spend time outside of the sport kind of hanging out, but we definitely get to see each other a lot and have that kind of social side of things. But yeah.
That's great. Thank you so much for that. And then second to last question is, what are some tips that you wish you knew before you started graduate school? So from the perspective of being a student athlete, and just in terms of so any tips that you wish you'd known, and that you would be willing to share. So 3 tips.
Okay, let me just write this out so that let me just think about this just for 1 second. Okay, so the first thing I'd say is making sure that you research out what type of master's degree you're actually interested in. The thing about master's degrees that a lot of students don't understand is it really depends on the people that the university has, i.e. the professors. So like what they're interested in, what their research is, because sometimes like the research that you're interested in might not necessarily be available at your university. And furthermore, to take with that point, make sure that you don't settle for something that you're not really interested in, because this is something that you're going to be committed to for the next 2 to 3 years of your life, and you want to really enjoy what you're doing with it. So if it's in a field that you don't really care about, then you're going to feel a little stuck. So making sure that it's, you know, propelling you in the direction that you want to take it, and making sure that you do the proper research and reaching out to those professors and the people that work with those professors, because the people that work with them are the people that are going to give you the best insight into what the program looks like from day to day. My second tip for athletes specifically would be to be taking a master's degree for the right reasons. I find that this isn't necessarily common, but like sometimes athletes will take a master's degree for the sole purpose of being able to run more and or play their sport for longer and have more eligibility. And sometimes that ends up hurting you more than helping you, because you end up either not liking the degree or being too busy with the degree, or just falling apart with the degree, and your performance can kind of take a hit. So making sure that you're still enjoying what you're doing and doing it because you want to do it, not just because you want to be around for a few more years, because it takes a toll on you when you do that. What would be my third piece of advice? Just remember that, you know, you have the rest of your life to work, and don't necessarily be scared about the fact that more education takes a little bit more time, because you're still going to be 25 in 2 years. So you might as well, if you want to take the education, take the education. You're still going to be here either way. So don't let the years get in the way of, you know, what you want, what your dream is.
Wow, that was powerful. That was really good. Oh wow, I really like that. Because you still be 25 in time, right? Just do it.
You're gonna be doing something. So
exactly. No, honestly, it's okay, so and then the very last question is kind of encapsulating everything. So lastly, do you have any kind of words of encouragement to student athletes, in particular looking to apply for grad school? So I know you shared the tip about making sure your master students, you're doing it for the right reason, but just kind of generally those that, you know, have decided and thought about it, and they do realize this is something they would like to do you have kind of any encouragement for people in that particular group?
Yeah, I would say, like, I think that athletes in particular tend to want to stay in the student bubble with their friends, and they want to continue being varsity athletes. It's an extremely huge privilege to be a varsity athlete, and we only have 5 years to do it. So I would say, you know, using this time to get a little bit more education while also enjoying what you have is a pretty big motivator to go and do it when you still have, you know, your athletics to back up on. Now, I did finish just saying make sure you're doing it for the right reasons, but it does kind of encourage you to go into grad school if you're still being an athlete, because it's well, I can continue to do this while also getting my education, as opposed to going somewhere else to do it. I mean, at the end of the day, it really depends on like what kind of career path you're wanting to take. But also, having education is never a bad thing. No education is a bad thing. And there's a lot of funding opportunities to kind of get it done. It doesn't have to necessarily be the financial burden that everybody thinks it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's actually one of the toughest questions that you asked me, because I wasn't actually sure how to say much about that. But yeah, I mean, I'd say go for it, but with all the other things attached.
Yeah. No, definitely. All right, so that is the end of the interview. Thank you so much, Jasmine, for sharing your insights with us. So what I typically do is I'm going to stop recording now. As I look for that button again, there we go.